Rise above fears, anxiety, and superstition. Study Vedanta. Would you like to be free from fears, worries, depression, and other emotions that weaken you and waste your life? Would you like to rise above superstition and unsubstantiated, blind, and irrational beliefs? Would you like to attain mental and spiritual freedom? Study Vedanta. As a first step, you might want to gain at least some fundamental knowledge of the Vedas and 10 principal Upanishads. The SANATANA DHARMA is a Vedic dharma, and therefore its main scriptures are the Vedas, which are part of the 3 main groups of canonical scriptures of the ancient Vedic Sanatana Dharma known as Prasthanatrayi, meaning the primary 3. The foundational knowledge that a seeker can gain from this presentation, an introduction to the Vedas and 10 Upanishads by Tavamithram, should be powerful enough to free him or her from the mental shackles of ludicrous beliefs, religious organizations, or other factors that cause fear, anxiety, uncertainty, anger, worries, despondency, and mental slavery. At the start of the 20th century, a certain Sivaprakasan Pillai met Sri Ramana Maharshi at the Virupaksha cave on the Arunachala hill at Tiruvannamalai. He placed before the Maharshi about 30 questions relating to understanding the self. About 2 decades later, the collection of the questions and the answers given by the Maharshi were published in the form of an essay titled Nan Yar, in the Tamil language meaning Who Am I? A simple search on the internet should suffice to find the English translation of the essay Who Am I, which can play a tremendous role in a true spiritual seeker's process of introspection through self-analysis. Now, who is a true spiritual seeker? Anyone who would like to remain free from dogma and religion and would like to explore the marvels of life and nature can be called a true spiritual seeker. There is no need for men to sport beards, desert their families, wear bizarre clothes, or speak unnaturally slowly and in an effeminate tone. It should be fine if one could simply commence their spiritual journey by studying the Bhagavad Gita and moving on to, at least, some of the principal Upanishads. This will help seekers rise from their early learning stages in their spiritual pursuit and aim for and proceed towards the highest stage of understanding and experiencing the ultimate bliss of the all-pervading divinity within them. The sage of Kanchi, Sri Chandrasekharendra Saraswati, likened the 4 parts of the Vedas, which are Samhitas, Brahmanas, Aranyakas, and Upanishads, to a tree, its flowers, its unripe fruits, and to its fully ripe fruits, respectively. However, to make it even simpler, I personally compare the 4 parts or levels of progress in a seeker's process of spiritual evolution in their quest for truth to the different levels in formal education, namely elementary, primary, secondary, graduation, and above. Puranas and Vedic scriptures are abundant in allegories and metaphors which are greatly useful in raising children with noble values and virtues. However, like what many adults do, it would be unwise to continue to perceive literally the allegorical representations of various facts and features of life and refuse to exit their bubbles of naivety, ignorance, and superstition, believing that they are sincere and devout followers of their religion. Please do not reduce the Vedic Sanatana Dharma to the low level of being a religion. Reading a simple translation of the Bhagavad Gita can be a great start to studying the rational philosophy of Vedanta, which is the final goal, peak, or end of the Vedas. Well, one surely needs to bear in mind the fact that in today's world, people are pressed for time due to their daily work and personal schedules. Nonetheless, studying Vedanta needs to be given topmost priority simply because even a fundamental knowledge of Vedanta that a person acquires can have a massive impact on every choice, including the smallest and most trivial ones that they might make. Doesn't one need to know well the person or company that he or she works for? Similarly, before making a choice, doesn't one need to ask himself or herself for whom or for what they would be making that choice, whether it is for their mind, their ego, their vanity, their inferiority complex, or their self? Performing this short self-inquiry before saying or doing anything can turn a person's whole life around for the better by liberating and empowering them to take on bravely and deftly even the greatest of challenges in life. Vedanta frees a person from the baseless fear of some invisible and powerful being in the skies. It gives a seeker a clear understanding that the all-pervading principle known as Brahman is, in the truest sense of the word, all-pervading, which means the self in all living beings is Brahman. Those who go through this presentation who have not read the Srimad Bhagavad Gita or any of the principal Upanishads or both will be pleasantly surprised, if not shocked, to observe how profoundly intelligent and intellectual people of the ancient Vedic Sanatana Dharma were. They were certainly far ahead of many people of today who fight over religion, caste, creed, race, gender, or gods and deities. Ignorance is the mother of all such social issues. People who do not even have some fundamental knowledge of the prime principles of Vedanta are easily tricked by crooks, charlatans, and mountebanks. Such gullible people become their followers and get entangled in the web of fear and psychological dependency-inducing yarn of nonsense that they spin so shrewdly. Such sly, self-styled, fake spiritual gurus, whom I call social criminals, include those who either have some rudimentary knowledge of the Vedic Dharma or have done absolutely no spiritual studies or practices, but convince the masses that they are highly knowledgeable and wise. The most essential and, in fact, a crucial benefit of studying at least the basics of some important Upanishads would be to straight away flood a seeker's mind with the joy of freedom. The freedom from the false belief that there is or there are separate powers outside oneself and wasting one's life trying to appease such non-existent beings will come to a grinding halt. Instead, as suggested in the Upanishads, the seeker starts looking inwards, which is the ideal path that can lead to the ultimate spiritual goal of self-realization. Remember that all spiritual studies are meant to aid in two ultimate realistic objectives that any ordinary mortal and sensible human being can have: to live a fulfilling life and to die a satisfying death. That's it. Do not complicate life. Make the best of it. Live every moment of it. Relish each and every moment that you are gifted with. Stay blessed. Jai Shri Krishna.